So I'm John Sokol. I've been a Dojo member from like the beginning, and so I've been involved in a lot of stuff. The construction of some of the earliest CDNs in '92 and '94, streaming video. So we started having an issue with Facebook, and now we've seen the Twitter files and all these things. So the discussion came up is, can we build some sort of peer-to-peer thing that doesn't rely on back-end server infrastructure? As I go through here, Jack Dorsey said we can't use a company because as soon as you have a company, the government can come and subpoena you and put all kinds of pressure, and you're forced to compromise. So we started thinking, well, can I execute code? Like in a browser tab, I've got an enormous amount of resources. I can access the GPU, I can do GLGS, web GPU, a number of things. I've got enormous amounts of storage. With WebRTC, I can build a mesh network. I can simulate a hard drive. I can also save out, from a local tab out to the drives and let users back up database information and put it back into the system. So I started looking at building sort of a basic architecture, and let me just a problem statement, which is more bitching. This is a good quote from the guys at Twitter. Here's Jack Dorsey's statement. So I started thinking, how can we build this? Here I'm getting banned for posting a clip from a Hollywood movie, Here, it's so common that people are selling pins, Facebook jail pins, and memes all over the place. Another friend of mine made the observation that he's getting nothing but garbage in his feed at this point. Nothing from his friends. He didn't sign up for this stuff. It's just, here's another former Dojo member. He used to run our network, and completely blacked out everything he's just said, claiming it was false information, and it was a joke. It was a joke. Like, yeah, of course it's not completely true, it's humor, but Facebook doesn't get it. So I'm like, okay, how can we resolve this? And I came up with sort of this idea where we're going to relays with WebRTC in the nodes. And before I started coding, I'm like, well, let me go look around and see what else is out there. And, I had a lot of ideas in this document, which I could share if anyone really wants to see. Anyway, this is going back to some other ideas I had years and years and years ago about building, distributed file system arrays and stuff like this, using erasure codes. I have my own erasure code system called ECIP. So anyway, let me cut to the chase. Where after doing this investigation, I started finding a number of tools. Pure.js, which was really cool. Pure Server, Croquette, which I really like, except that you have to have an account with them. So if I were to publish something and the FBI were to get annoyed or whatever, they could just turn me off. OSJS, which is just a really cool framework, but it doesn't have any of this stuff. So anyway, then I came across CYFS, which is very interesting because they actually implemented something very close to what I had sketched out. And then I ended up meeting Mark Nadal here at the Dojo, about a month ago. And his architecture is exactly what I sketched out too. So I've been really banging my head against a brick wall trying to make this work. I'm not really a node person, so it's been quite a brutal learning lesson. One of the interesting things, by the way, ChatGPT has been priceless in helping me decipher this whole alphabet soup of freaking HTML libraries that everything's in. And then there's another one that just came out, which is this Noster. So let's see, I have a Croquette here, which was kind of interesting. They have a real-time demo here. This is off of their website. This is a little example I've got on CodePen. And everything's synchronized. So I can open my phone right now and you'll see it's going to be perfectly in sync. The timing on this is amazing. Now, I think Gun can get the same level of accurate simultaneous timing as this, but I'm not sure. So anyway, my feeling is, we could do chat rooms, we could replace Facebook with this. Anyway. All right, my time's up. Questions?
Oh yeah, so it's 1, 2, okay, is your vision basically like imagine we're at some kind of protest, and the idea is we're using perhaps say Bluetooth, and we form a mesh of Bluetooth, and we can all communicate to each other. Like, would that be a vague summarization of your vision?
This is web-based, so it's not going to work over Bluetooth. The real idea, though, is, I want a Facebook-like site where I can chat. Okay, I don't necessarily even want to encrypt anything. If they want to go sniff it, I'm happy doing it all clear text. I just don't want them filtering it and fact checking, and I want to send a binary to my son or some link and I'm blocked. There was a Yaza, which is one of the most awesome electric vehicle 3-phase brushless DC motors, and it's blocked on Facebook. I cannot share it because there's a Turkish politician with that same last name, and it just hit the AI filter, and that's it. You can't share the link. So it's like, the filtering and censoring has gotten incredibly disruptive on just basic conversation.
And you feel that Mastodon is not adequate?
It might be, but I want something I have a little bit more control over. And I don't know, I haven't really ripped into the Mastodon source code, but I don't want a central server where they can go down. I think about it. I had a BBS in '87, one of the largest ones in the Bay Area called TurboSys. And, one guy would copy the San Jose Mercury articles that were tech related or whatever, and then we'd discuss it. And on Facebook, this is exactly what I'm still trying to do. And I can't do it now. I'm being interfered with. So, I just want to discuss news articles with my friends without having, some old lady get in the middle of the conversation and start judging everything.
Thanks a lot.
Any other questions? Awesome. Let's give another. Oh, okay.
So just to piggyback off the Mastodon, my experience with Mastodon was that it is distributed, but it's federated, and I noticed that using different services, social media platforms on Mastodon, because there's multiple services out there. With Mastodon, I got booted. I got booted for just publishing links, and because there is people that do manage these relays. Now with Nostr, on the other hand, that can't be stopped. People that do open up a relay can filter out your data, but indefinitely your data is pretty much on the Nostr protocol indefinitely. So that's what I like about Nostr in comparison to Mastodon.
Well, my point of view is if I'm posting something so bad, let the FBI come in and arrest me. Don't sit here and interfere with just normal idle chatter.
Yeah,
the bar for that is so low.
John,
and easy for that.
have you had a chance to try out Nostr?
Not yet. I just found out about it today, and I put the link in there, and I started looking at it.
You're going to be amazed that there's no filter. It's beautiful to see people.
But the
all
thing
around
is,
the world.
it's not peer-to-peer. Everything's going through their stupid relays. Now, Gun has a relay that does the same thing, but it's just a backup. Mm-hmm. It makes the introductions for the WebRTC like I had proposed in my thing, and I think that's a critical step. The CYFS does this as well.
Okay.
Wait, sorry. One more quick question. So I'm still a bit vague on your vision, but I thought one of the worries of true peer-to-peer is that eventually someone else's content will end up on my computer, and that content could be illegal.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
now I'm at risk, despite the fact that I was not the one who posted the material.
Well, ideally, there's some encryption or something where you're not able to access the content.
All right, thanks.
But also part of it is if it's more like a caching, you're only keeping copies of stuff you've read anyway. You're not sharing and redistributing stuff you didn't look at.
If we have fully distributed platform, how will people find each other if it's not indexed or we don't have
I would share with you my key or my handle or some way of finding me. So in my case, I've got my own web server domain. I can run a relay, and I also host web pages. I can put the code on GitHub, which putting a static page on GitHub is priceless. So now I could have put all this content up there and build virtual worlds with 3D animations and all kinds of stuff, and go into a VR world, and using Croquet have multiplayer interactive multiverse stuff without a back-end server of any kind, and no bandwidth fees and this shit where, oh, they're going to give you $100,000 of credit. Well, I don't need credit. This is free. I can pull as much bandwidth as I want, as fast as I want, and I don't need credit to like use this bandwidth, which is basically, we've got it free.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and if you look at Croquet, by the way, it runs like server modules in the browser. So it's like, generating the content and rendering it in the browser, but everyone's synchronized for gaming, which is very interesting. And that same architecture should apply over to Gun as well. All right.